39. Now this was one of the most requested question in the comment sections as well. It's not that tough. I mean, see, they've asked forward hedge, they've asked money market hedge, and options contract is asked, and no hedging technique is asked. So it's not that difficult if you know the core logic of why a certain thing is done a certain way. In forward, I don't think people would have any issue. The main issue would be money market hedge and options contract. Okay, so let's start again. If I would suggest that please refer to question number 37 and 38 before we start this, because there I've explained in detail the reasoning why we do present value, for example, why we in case of payables, if my original contract is payables after say 180 days, why do I enter into an opposite position today, that is an asset, opposite of liability today, which is investment, why we do it, and why use the present value. In this question I don't think I'll be explaining in that detail, but still we'll try. It's a revision video. And so anyway, let's start with the question. It's an easy one if you understand the logic of it. Okay, question number 39. XYZ Limited is a US firm which will need pound 3 lakh in 180 days. In connection with this, the following information is given to us. Spot rate is given to us, 180 day forward is given to us. Now if you notice the quote is a direct pound quote. See, 1 pound is equal to $2. So this is dollar by pound 2. Okay, a direct pound quote. Interest rates are given to us for UK and US. The deposit and borrowing rates are different. Okay, and directly they've given, and only in this question I think that's the case, but they've given directly for 180 days. Okay, otherwise the rates are generally per annum. So in this case you do not have to multiply the rate with the quantum, the tenure. So these are not per annum rates here. Please highlight this. Okay, then further, a call option on pound that expires in 180 days has an exercise price, strike price is given to us of $1.97 and a premium of $0.04. Okay, now premium is a mandatory outflow, and this outflow is upfront. Okay, this has to be paid on spot, irrespective of the fact whether you actually exercise your call option or put option or whatever call or put that is. In this particular case it's call option. So irrespective of the fact that whether you exercise it or not, in future at the strike price of say 1.97 in this case, you will have to pay out $0.04, okay, per option, correct, and this has to be at spot. Okay, now after establishing that fact, further the question is, XYZ has forecasted the spot 180 day forward rates as, see, XYZ thinks that the rate could be, today the spot is at 2, but this could change at 1.91 also, it could happen at 1.95 also, could be 2.05 also, and the probability of that happening is 25, 60 and 15% respectively. Okay, that's what they think. Okay, and what they've asked, finally they've asked which of the following strategies would be most preferable to XYZ Limited. Once again, you can either hedge through a forward contract, because see, why we are hedging is, why the hedging techniques are required in the first place is because I'm a US company and my payout is in a different currency. Okay, it's pound. Okay, so since there is a different currency, and if you've noticed, XYZ thinks that the rate will fluctuate. These are the fluctuation, right? The spectrum is 1.91 to 2.05. okay, and the probability is also given to us. So since this is going to happen, I want to fix my outflow today. I need to know what exactly I'm going to pay after 180 days. I don't want a surprise, okay, where my outflow could increase as well. Okay, so this is the reason, this is the very reason that we will use different kinds of hedging techniques, and the kinds are given to us. See, different kinds is forward, money market and options, or then there is also one thing where you don't do anything. Okay, let it happen, let's just see what actually happens post 180 days. We'll see that and accordingly we'll pay. We don't want to hedge anything. That's also one of the possibility, right? So what we have to do is, we have to calculate in each case what is the payout, and whichever will give us the minimum amount value, that is our final answer. That is the preferable strategy for XYZ Limited. Okay, easy. I hope the question is understood. So now we jump on to the solution. So for forward contract, I'll do it right here. Okay, it's easy. The first one, A, forward contract. See, my quantum is pound 3 lakh and my my forward rate, 180-day forward rate, only one rate is given. So even easier, the bid and ask is also not given, just one single rate, 1.96. Okay, so pound 3 lakh into dollar by pound. The question that will arise is why multiplication and why not divide. Simple. Why multiplication I'll answer. It's a simple question answer. Just because my common currency has to cancel out. Only if I multiply the common currency, which is pound in this case, will cancel out. It's a direct pound quote. And when that happens, I'll be left with equivalent dollars. So this is 1.96. So when I do that, 3 lakh into 1.96 is 5,88,000. Okay, dollar 5,88,000. So now if you notice, I've fixed my outflows in case of dollars, my home currency. XYZ is a US firm. Okay, so I've fixed in my home currency. Whatever be the rate at 180-day time period, that is post 6 months, whatever be the rate, my outflow is fixed because I've taken a forward contract that I will only pay using the rate 1.96. It's fixed. Okay, so part 1 is done. Okay, now money market hedge. Money market hedge, I think we'll have to actually solve this, and it would be better if we do that. Money market hedge, payable in this case, payable 3 lakh pounds. Payable means liability, therefore we create an opposite position, that is an asset. Okay, why opposite? Already explained in question number 37 and 38. Please refer that. Opposite position, that is an asset, that is we create an investment today. We'll invest basically today. Investment at spot. Okay, investment of what? So you will have a question that okay, invest, but what is the quantum of that? We already have the quantum, 3 lakh. Okay, now quantum is fixed. What is the currency? Pound. We already have the currency as well. Now the quantum is 3 lakh or less than that. Think about it. Think about it. It will be less than that, equal to 3 lakh, or more than that. It will be less than that. Today I will invest an amount less than 3 lakh so that in future, that is 180-day hence, my investment will mature up to an amount of 3 lakh exact. Okay, 3 lakh pounds. So that I can nullify my liability with my investment that's going to mature. Are you able to understand why not 3 lakh and why an amount less than 3 lakh? Okay, so now that is fixed, that we will have to invest an amount less than 3 lakh pounds. But how much should I invest? So I also don't know. So I say let's let that amount be X. So let's see the solution, how you write that. Okay, let the amount to be invested today be X, because I don't really know how much. How will I know? I will have to know, right? How will I know? So it's nothing but present value. Present value of 3 lakh will give me 3 lakh. Okay, now how? So X has to be such that principal, that is 1, the principal component 1 plus the interest part will come up to 3 lakh. This equation is clear, the logical reasoning is clear. Now the interest component. For that, I will have to go to the question to get the rate. So here we are in the question. We have the UK rate. Why UK rate and why not US rate? Because what we are investing is pounds, 3 lakh pounds. Okay, hence the UK rate. Deposit or borrowing. Deposit is of no use to us. Borrowing, because I think I said the reverse thing. Deposit is the deposit rate is of use to us because we are investing, right? So 4.5. Excuse the error, please. 4.5% directly we take, because this is not per annum. They've directly given us for 180 days. Okay, so X is equal to, now quickly we'll do 3 lakh. So this will be 3 lakh divided by 1.045, right? This comes up to, let's calculate, 2,87,081. What? Pounds. We are still at pounds, by the way. The currency has not been translated. All we did was calculate the present value of 3 lakh. Okay. So now what is this amount? This is what we invest today so that I can get 3 lakh post 180 days. Correct? Now, step 2 of money market hedge is translate this. Now, see, okay, I have to invest these pounds, but do I actually have these pounds with me in order to invest? No, I don't. So what I'll do is I'll buy from the market. Okay, so buy pound 2,87,081 at spot. The spot rate was 1 pound is equal to $2. Okay, so once again I'll write the entire thing. Quickly we'll do 287,081 into dollar by pound 2. Why am I multiplying? Because my common currency has to cancel out. So into 2 would give me 5,74,162. What? Now it is dollars. Okay, dollars. Now again the issue comes that okay, I'll buy 2,87,081 pounds using dollars 5,74,162. But do I have these dollars as well? I don't. See, by default, what we assume in money market hedges, I don't have anything in my pockets. All I have to do is go out there in the market and buy or sell or whatever the action is. In this case, it's payable, so we are buying. Okay. So what is the next logical step according to you? Should I will have to borrow, right? I don't have them, so I will have to borrow from the bank because I need them. Okay, so step 3 is borrow $5,74,162. Okay, when I borrow, my total outflow, which is principal plus the interest, will be something. So let's calculate that amount, that value, that something. Okay, post 180 days, correct? So outflow, one second, outflow post, should I say total outflow, which is principal plus interest post 180 days, which is my maturity period, is equal to principal plus interest, right? Interest at the rate, the US rate now, US borrowing rate. So in the question we say US rate and the borrowing rate is 5.5%. So 5.5% for 180 days directly they've given. Correct? Let's calculate. So post calculation, 574,162 plus 5.5% is coming up to 6,05,741.6. Okay, what? Dollars. So this is my dollar outflow, total dollar outflow post 180 days. Money market hedge is complete. Okay, so if I opt for money market hedge, my outflow will be 6,05,000. And if I opt for forward hedge, my outflow would have been, we did that in the question as I think, here, 5,88,000. So up till now, if we compare both the options, it is the forward contract because my outflow is lesser. But we still have more 2 options, which is options contract and no hedging. 2 more strategy to do. So let's do the options contract. For options and no hedging, we'll do directly from the solution, the institute material, because I'll have to prepare a table and everything. It will be time consuming, right? So we have the solution right here. Options contract. Now let's see. We understand the table, very logical, extremely logically they've presented. Expected spot rate in 180 days. These are the expectation that the company XYZ is having. Okay, we had already seen this in the question, 1.91, 1.95 and 2.05. Now the exercise price, I'll just write, call option exercise price was $1.97, right? And the premium, this was the strike price. the premium was $0.04. Okay, all these things are in dollars. Okay, so now, okay, we've established this. Now, so the expected spot we've seen 1.91, 1.95 and 2.05. Now if it is 1.91, if the company is expecting that 180 day hence the rate will be 1.91, will you actually exercise the call option at 1.97? No. Why on the living earth will I do that when I'm clearly expecting that the rate will be less than that? I can get the same amount using the lesser, no, this is what I'm expecting. My expectation is 1.91, so why will I pay 1.97? I will not do that, right? So I will not exercise my call option. See, the name itself of this hedging technique is option. So I have a right, the buyer of the option has the right whether to exercise or not, and I'm not going to exercise it. So I will not exercise, correct? Second one, 1.95. Again, it is less. My actual price that I'm expecting 180 day hence is lesser than the strike price. If I exercise, I will have to pay 1.97. If I don't exercise, I am expecting that I'll have to pay only 1.95. Obviously, I'm not going to exercise the option, right? So again, no. 2.05, here I will exercise. Why? Because if I compare 1.97, I'm getting, if I exercise my option using a strike price or exercise price of 1.97, I'm saving, correct? Because what I'm expecting is, in the market, 180 day hence the rate is going to be much more, which is 2.05. So I will exercise, so hence the yes part. So I hope the first column and the third column is clear. Okay, now we see the second column, which is premium. As I had explained this at the start of the solution as well, in the question while we were reading the question, the premium is a mandatory fixed outflow. Okay, in case of options, the option gives the buyer the right to exercise the option or not. You don't have an obligation, you have a right. You can, you cannot, but there is one component. In order to have that option, in order to have that right, you will have to pay that one component, which is premium, and you will have to pay that upfront. Okay, which will not be a significant amount, but still you will have to pay it in order to book that option contract. And that premium in this case is $0.4. So this is going to be an outflow in all the cases, whether or not you exercise the option, irrespective of that fact. So if you notice, in all three cases, whether no or yes, the premium is there, correct? This is also understood. Column 1, 2 and 3 is understood. Now the fourth column, total price per unit. Okay, and this is all happening in per unit, then we'll multiply with 3 lakh for all the individual cases, because that's our quantum. Okay, so total price per unit. Now in the first case, 1.91, I'm not going to exercise my option, so I will pay the price which is in the market, which I'm assuming will be in the market, is 1.91. So I'm going to pay that, but I also have to pay the premium as explained. So my total price is 1.91 plus 0.04, so 1.95. Similarly for 2 and 3 as well. Now in the third part, you will ask why is it 2.01. I don't think most will ask, but in case you are asking and if you're thinking, I'll explain it. So here, if you notice, this is not going to be 2.05 plus 0.04, no, because I have exercised my option. Now since I've exercised my option, this is not the price that I'm going to pay. Paying instead of this, I'm going to be paying 1.97 plus my premium 0.04, and if you add this comes up to 2.01. So this 2.01 is like this. Okay, how I derived it? I have derived this. Most of you all will already know this. Now fourth is clear. Column 5, total price for now 3 lakh pounds, because that's my quantum. Okay, all we are doing was calculating it per unit. Now for the entire 3 lakh, so all I have to do is multiply total price per unit into 3 lakh. As simple as that, I'll be getting these answers. Now I also have the probability of that happening. In the question, if you notice, they've given the probability, which is 25%, 60%, 15%. So I'll multiply that in each of the cases, and I get the final probability into the amount. Okay, I get a final answer here. The question, the solution ends here. Ideally, yes, but there's one more part. The 660, and this is actually very correct of the institute to do this as well. See, because by default we are assuming that we don't have any funds. Okay, but the premium that is of 0.04 per unit will have to be paid today, spot, upfront. So by default, if I don't have any funds, I will have to borrow these funds. At what rate? The US dollar borrowing rate, right? The US borrowing rate. So the borrowing rate is 5.5%. If you notice in the question, go back to the question and check that. 5.5%. In fact, we'll just go back right now and check that rate. See, borrowing rate, dollars, 5.5%, correct? So that 0.04, this 12,000, how this 12,000 is derived, I'll write that also. 3 lakh is my total quantum, pounds, into 0.04. So pound into dollar by pound. So pound goes. So this is my dollar quantum, which is $12,000, which I have to pay upfront, premium. This is premium, and this into 5.5% for 6 months. I will have to borrow this from the bank. Okay, so for that also the interest is also added. So I can get the cumulative net, my outflow, my total outflow. So now my total outflow is this, not 5,94,900, it is rather this, 5,95,560. They've done very beautifully, and this solution is presented really well. Okay, so this is done, the option part is understood. Now the fourth hedging technique is a no hedge option. So what to do if you don't want to do any of these things? I mean, why do it? Why not just wait and watch? Basically, it's that option. So here we'll see the table, study the table. Expected future spot rate, again the question 1.91, 1.95, 2.05. The dollar needed, so these are per unit rate. The dollar needed is basically multiplied by 3 lakh pounds. Okay, so these are the dollar needed. Then the probability, they've given in the question all these probability. Then the final is probability multiplied by your quantum, which will give you the answer 5,86,500. The expected outflow, in case you're not doing anything, you're just waiting and watching, basically no hedge technique, the outflow is 586,500. Done. So now we've done everything. So now we have to compare in which of the 4 cases my outflow is the least. So if I compare this 586,595, then it is 6,05,741, and the forward, the outflow was 5,88,000. So if I compare everything, the least is this no hedge technique. If I don't do anything, my outflow is going to be the least, which is 5,86,500. So finally they've given a statement. They said the probability distribution of outcomes for no hedge strategy appears to be the most preferable because the least number of dollars are needed under this option to arrange pound 3 lakh. Yes, done. The question was easy. I hope you've understood it. Thank you. Bye.